Sure. Everybody want to stretch for a second? Get up for a second. I'm sitting there for a little while. Okay, yeah. Feel free to get up and stretch for a minute. All right. Well, this is me. My company is Best Life Advisors, and I am a daily money manager. Three words that most people have never heard put together because we are a small niche organization or a small niche profession, I should say, that is rapidly growing, primarily because people are aging. Um, People are aging at a point where their health is good, then their health is bad. They have special needs in terms of living spaces. And over time, that process of aging can become overwhelming to both them and their families. Their adult children who have to help support them and figure out how to make things work for mom and dad, or a brother or sister, or a grandparent becomes complicated. So I say that we bring clarity and order to your financial life. What's up here? A daily money manager is a new profession. And if you're looking for a daily money manager, you are going to look for someone who is background checked. You're going to look for someone who has special insurance, primarily for errors and omissions, which is the same kind of insurance that many of my colleagues carry. We make a mistake, you've got insurance coverage. We make sure that we are, in my situation, we're members of the American Association of Daily Money Managers. It's a professional organization that sets out codes of ethics and standards of practice that make sure that we are doing things above board and working as a fiduciary for our clients' benefits. So that's a little bit about me. So I say daily money managers help. And when I talk about that, I talk to my clients in terms of we don't make decisions for them. We walk alongside our clients and we help them with their day-to-day, very small tasks in many places, and in some cases, very large tasks where we're working with people in our team here where they're trying to make decisions about big events in their life. But our job is to walk alongside people and help them through that process and help them find the right resources. We're not just bill payers. That's daily money managers. Many people think of as we help people pay their bills, because that's the main thing that most people do in their life is you make sure you get the checkbook out and get all your bills paid so that your utilities stay on. But we help people get their finances organized for those times when life gets lifey, when things get difficult, or there's an emergency or a health crisis, or just a change in life where you want to go on a big vacation and someone's, you're going to be gone for 4 weeks. Somebody's got to make sure that things are taken care of. Our company, we have something called a whole life list. And there are many resources now for people to pull all of their information together into a nice, neat little package. There are some online resources now where companies are coming in and offering you places to leave your all your key documents and things in a digital place. We have something just as a simple piece of paper. It's all done on the computer, but we keep everyone's information together in one simple file, so that if their children need to take over for a period of time and help pay bills, we can hand it off to someone who's their power of attorney or their trustee. But we call that our whole life list because we're going down to the granular level. We're talking about all the little details of their life. So we work on financial organization. We deal with all those expenses that happen in life that you're already doing for yourself. We help you when you're overwhelmed in doing those kinds of things. But we're also working with our clients to promote safety, particularly when it has to do with fraud. Many times we will go to the bank with our clients and help them through a situation where there's been some kind of incursion into their bank account. And again, we walk alongside them, we work with the bankers, and we help them get through that process. So we're a watchdog for them. And stress reduction is a big thing for many people. As we get older, there's just a lot of things that can be overwhelming. And so part of what we do is just help our clients reduce their stress load by helping them get through the day-to-day things in their life. Who do we work with? This is a pretty good overview of the kinds of people we work with. It can be not just older adults. It can be people in different stages of their life where they need assistance. We have one client who has just had her 6th child. She's a relatively young woman. She has a mother who's in care, and we have a team of people that help her mother, but she just needs help herself trying to keep her mother's situation and everything together, as well as run her own life. So we support her with that kind of thing. We also work with people who have disabilities, maybe Parkinson's, ALS, all kinds of things. People who have children with special needs, maybe they're overwhelmed by the requirements of taking care of those children. And so, again, we come in and support them in the finances of their life because it may be a lot to be a caretaker and then do everything that you normally do to keep your finances together at the same time. We also work with professionals. So, business owners, busy professionals. We have a doctor in New York who has a mother here in care, and we've just kind of been his everything here locally. We take care of the house in he has a house here that she used to live in. They have a business. Um, we just kind of help him pull things together. He'll just say, "Can you fax this? Can you do this? Can you do that?" So in many ways, we are a personal assistant as well. And then, as I said here in the last, we help people through their life transitions. So we help people who are trustees or people who are powers of attorney, people who maybe are conservators already for their family, getting the paperwork and the details done in those situations. So let me just talk again a little more specifically about what is a daily money manager. I like to say that we're specialists and we're generalists. We get into, as I said, the minute details of financial life, literally like helping people keep their checkbooks. We usually do it in a little more online way, but we help people make sure their checkbooks are balanced, and those kinds of things are happening on a very granular level. But we also are generalists. So we will work with people to have their documents taken to an attorney and make sure that the things that they want to have changed are changed in their trust and end of life plans. We'll work with their insurance person and their financial advisor and all of the other resources that are there in their life to make sure that goes smoothly. So we're sort of a hub, and that's why I say we're a generalist. We know a lot about a lot of things. We don't know the specifics that people like Chris and other people know the specifics of their field, but we know a little bit about everything, and so we can help clients get to the right place for the right thing. We do, as I said, reconcile accounts. We help with medical billing errors. We help make sure that people have the cash flow they need. Many times the financial advisor will say, give me an estimate of what your bills are, and they try to project out where they're going to be for their retirement. Well, we help them actually see what they really are spending so that when they give their financial advisor the numbers, that those numbers are real, not what somebody thinks they spend, but what they actually are spending. And particularly as someone gets older and starts to make a transition from maybe their home to a living situation like independent or assisted living, those numbers become really important as you start thinking about spending down your assets. We work with key people. So we work with key advisors for all of the people that you might have, from your home insurance person to we work with care people, the care managers, or people who are actually coming in the home to manage care. Those bills all have to get paid. So we're trying to make sure that all those things happen in an orderly way. I had a care manager at a client today, and she called and she said, just got something in the mail, and she sent me a picture of it. It's like, okay, now we need to call the daughter and we need to deal with this. We've got a safe deposit box that we didn't know about. So surprise, those things come in the mail, and if someone loses that or it goes into the trash, suddenly you've got a little problem that will sort of you'll end up finding it eventually, but it will rear its ugly head at the craziest times. I had one client who they had all their bills would come to their house, but they would disappear, and we couldn't get them to put their mail all in one place. And one day, a friend of theirs said, "What about this?" Well, they had you know this story, Liam. They had a thing saying their health insurance, their prescription plan was being discontinued, and it was like a few days before. And Liam came out and took care of that. But you have to have someone in the home who knows what's actually going on. So I say, in many ways, I'm boots on the ground. Creating the systems, helping to make sure that there is a system and a flow for how things happen. Sometimes people don't like to manage their mail, though. But things come in the mail that are really important. And even today, even with the post office being what it is, email or mail are really, it's important to be able to review that and make sure you know what really is trash and what is not. It sounds very simple, but it actually can get very complicated. So here's some things that a professional daily money manager might see. Unusual financial activity. You can find situations where maybe there's a whole bunch of payments going out. And one situation with a maintenance man who was a good friend of the family, very entwined with the woman who lived in her home by herself. And there were lots of payments going on, and they were all even dollar payments. Like, oh, what's going on here? And it ended up, when you start adding it up, it ended up to be a lot of money. And so the daughter had to come in, and we had to work with the parent to try to take some of the things away from that person and make sure they knew we were watching what was going on. Changes in client behavior as people age. Sometimes you see small indicators of future dementia, or you might have something where a client starts hiding things, and suddenly, okay, you don't know what's going on. And one of my people that we spoke with, um, very well educated people who owned a business, and the wife apparently got into some kind of fraud situation, but she didn't realize it was a fraud, it was a scam, and she ended up kind of sneaking around and doing some things. And finally, I guess she kicked her husband. She said, I found her at the gas station, and she was putting money into the Bitcoin machine because this person had convinced her that she needed to go and pay this bill. And so she was frantic, but very very well educated person, but they can get you sucked into these things. And so we try to put things in place to prevent that kind of thing from happening and educate our clients as to the things that are out there as far as scams. We look at things like unpaid bills, missed payments, late fees, duplicate payments, um, increasing credit card debt. A lot of things can happen in people's lives that they just don't even pay attention to. And many times it's small things, but they add up to a lot of money. So I had one client that she was paying for 5 Spectrum, they call those things the Spectrum things where you buy the little thing, and it's thing that you put it on all your TVs. She only had 2 TVs. She only had 2 TVs. She had been paying for 5 since she divorced, which was over 10 years ago. Little things that just kept sucking money out of her. She had 2 phone numbers on one phone. She didn't even know she had 2 phone numbers, but she was paying for those. She'd been doing that for like 3 or 4 years. So sometimes we get into a habit of just, oh, that's what the bill is. It's pretty much normal. I had one client that had a huge water bill, and it was like, this is way too much. And we went back and looked at the history, and we found out that she had big leaks. She had a pond leak and a problem with her sprinkler. So we're kind of a watchdog for those kinds of things as well. We look for new or unusual or excessive payments, donations. Many times older adults will have subscriptions, and something will come in the mail, and they'll think, well, I have to pay this bill. It looks like a bill. It's actually just a company trying to get your money. And you send them the money, and then they send you another thing that says you owe something else. And suddenly you're getting things in the mail, but they're not things you really wanted. They're just things that happened because you forgot that that wasn't something you ordered. Multiple subscriptions, magazine renewals are crazy. They send you things 2 years before your subscription actually renews, and people pay it, and then their subscription is another 2 or 3 years beyond the year and a half that it's later. So we're looking at the details of people's lives and making sure that they're not spending that kind of money. So we are essentially, in many ways, a financial concierge. We are there to take care of lots of little things that happen in people's lives that they may or may not know what to do with. But it could be the bill pay and getting those things set up automatically and then kind of watching cash flow. Or it could be things as simple as helping them make sure that all those Amazon things got returned, or making sure that things get to the post office and get certified. It's really as simple as that, but it can get very complicated. We've had clients where we've worked with a financial advisor who realized that the client had literally $1 million sitting in the bank earning nothing, earning a very small amount of interest. But it took months to get that all figured out, retitled, and moved over into the financial advisor's pool so that things could be invested and money could be earned on that money. But it wasn't something that person could do. So, in conjunction with their family, we made sure that that happened. So it can be very interesting and complicated. It can also be very simple things where we're just supporting someone in their home as they're waiting to move into assisted living, and supporting the family who maybe has other things that they need to be doing. So we work with the estate planners, the lawyers. We can do things like retitling accounts. If they put things in a trust, we help them get everything in the right place in cooperation with the lawyers. We can help people who are doing Medicaid applications get all that information pulled together. We can help you with tax time when it's just a matter of pulling those numbers together for your tax accountant. Financial advisors, obviously, to keep your plans in line with reality. As I said, trustees, estate representatives, we can support those people. We can also, at some point in time, be those people. We don't do that on a regular basis, but it is something that we are able to do. We work with insurance agents, but again, back to the details. We are very detailed in what we do, and we track deadlines. And are your car tags ready to renew? Is your passport renewed? All the way down into the end of life plans. So where are you going to be buried? Do you want to prepay that? Do you know what you want in the future? So those are the kinds of things that we look at. But I guess my takeaway here is we do more than just pay bills. Many people think of daily money managers as bill payers. It's an important role, but we do much more than that. And really, anyone can use a daily money manager. You don't have to be an older adult. You don't have to be someone who, you could even be someone who's very qualified to do what you do. You just don't want to spend your time and energy there. Especially as you get older, you want to spend your time and energy on the things you love doing. And perhaps that's taking care of your grandchildren or traveling, whatever it is. So anyone can use a daily money manager. And the key thing here is we work with all these fine people because everybody has some piece of the puzzle, right? As Chris said. So thank you.